Imagine stepping into a world-class museum, expecting to be surrounded by centuries of creativity, history, and priceless beauty. The air is thick with anticipation as you wander through grand halls, each corner promising a glimpse of humanity's greatest artistic achievements. But suddenly something feels off. Instead of masterpieces, you're met with hauntingly empty frames, silent witnesses to a crime that shook the art world to its core. The walls, once vibrant with color and life, now stand bare, echoing the loss that can never truly be measured. This chilling scene is the reality at Boston's Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, the site of the largest property theft in modern history. In the early hours of March 18, 1990, two men disguised as police officers bluffed their way inside, forever altering the fate of the museum and the art world. The most astonishing detail: the thieves had 81 uninterrupted minutes inside the museum, an eternity for a heist of this scale. In that time, they roamed the galleries with chilling confidence, undisturbed and unhurried, as if they owned the place. They moved with methodical precision, cutting priceless works from their frames and leaving behind a trail of destruction. Yet, curiously, they ignored some of the museum's most valuable treasures, raising questions that have baffled investigators for decades. In total, 13 masterpieces vanished that night, including irreplaceable works by Rembrandt, Vermeer, Manet, and Degas. Each piece represented not just immense monetary value, but a unique window into the past, stories, techniques, and visions lost in a single night. The loss of Vermeer's The Concert was especially devastating. With only 34 known paintings by Vermeer in existence, its disappearance left a void in the art world that can never be filled. For art lovers and historians, it's a wound that still aches. Decades have passed, but the Gardner heist remains an unsolved legend. The museum's empty frames hang as both a tribute to what was lost and a challenge to those who seek answers. They are a stark daily reminder of a mystery that refuses to fade, haunting visitors and investigators alike. The central questions endure. Who were the thieves bold enough to pull off such a daring crime, and where is the stolen art now? The world still waits for answers, as the greatest art heist in history remains shrouded in intrigue and unanswered questions. The heist began with a single, unexpected knock at the museum's rarely used side door, a door that on most nights saw little activity and was considered secure. But this was no ordinary night. It was the early hours after St. Patrick's Day 1990. The city was quiet, the streets still glistening from the celebrations just hours before. Most people were home, sleeping off the festivities, leaving the museum shrouded in silence and darkness. Two men appeared at the entrance, dressed convincingly as Boston police officers. Their uniforms were crisp, their badges gleaming in the dim light. They claimed to be responding to a disturbance call, an excuse that seemed plausible enough to the guards inside. Against strict protocol, night watchman Rick Abath made a fateful decision. Trusting their story, he buzzed them in, never suspecting that this simple act would change the course of art history. Once inside, the imposters wasted no time. They separated Abath from his post at the security desk, isolating him from the museum's alarm systems and communication lines. Then they called for the second guard, luring him into their trap. Suddenly the charade ended. "Gentlemen, this is a robbery," one of the men declared, his voice cold and authoritative. The guards realized too late that they had been deceived by a flawless disguise and a well-rehearsed story. The guards were quickly subdued, their hands cuffed and their eyes covered. They were led down into the basement, far from any hope of rescue, and left bound in a dark, windowless room. The thieves now had total control of the museum. They hadn't needed weapons or violence, just the power of a convincing lie, a uniform, and the trust that comes with authority. Millions of dollars worth of security technology, cameras, alarms, and motion detectors were rendered useless. The thieves had bypassed every safeguard, not with brute force, but by exploiting a single moment of human error and the natural instinct to trust. For 81 minutes, the museum, home to some of the world's most valuable treasures, became their private playground. The thieves moved freely through the silent galleries, selecting their targets with care and precision. There was no sign of forced entry, no shattered glass or broken locks. Their entry had been granted, not taken by force. A psychological coup that left investigators baffled for decades. With the guards helpless and the museum unprotected, the stage was set for the most infamous art theft in history. a crime that would haunt the art world and the city of Boston for years to come. With the guards out of the way, the thieves began their calculated plunder. Over 81 minutes they selected 13 works worth over $500 million. The centerpiece, Vermeer's The Concert, the world's most valuable missing painting. Rembrandt's only seascape, Christ in the Storm on the Sea of Galilee, was cut from its frame. They also took a Rembrandt etching, a portrait, 5 Degas sketches, a Manet, a Chinese bronze, and a bronze eagle finial. Their choices were baffling, ignoring masterpieces by Titian, Raphael, and Michelangelo. The crude removal suggested haste, not expertise. Was it a shopping list for a collector or random grabs by amateurs? The result, a cultural void that remains unfilled. The thieves' 81 minutes inside were marked by both precision and chaos. Motion sensors tracked their confident movements, especially in the Dutch room, where they targeted their main prizes. Paintings were slashed from frames, leaving behind paint shards and devastation. Some works were removed carefully, others brutally, an inconsistency that still puzzles investigators. They wandered through other galleries, stealing sketches and odd items like the Napoleonic finial. Before leaving, they erased security footage and checked on the guards. At 2:45 a.m., they vanished into the night. The guards weren't found until hours later. The art was already gone. The museum would never be the same. The aftermath saw a massive FBI and police investigation, but the trail was ice cold. No fingerprints, no witnesses, and the security tapes were gone. Theories abounded: ransom, a billionaire's private collection, organized crime. Yet no ransom demand ever came, and none of the art has surfaced anywhere. Stolen art usually reappears, but the Gardner pieces vanished without a trace. The FBI chased thousands of leads from Boston's underworld to the IRA, but every path led nowhere. The statute of limitations for the theft expired, but hiding stolen art remains a crime. The FBI claims to know the culprits, but without the art, their hands are tied. 35 years later, the silence is as mysterious as the crime itself. The Gardner heist remains an unsolved enigma. Over the years, the investigation into the Gardner heist has taken many twists and turns, with law enforcement focusing heavily on Boston's notorious underworld. Detectives pored over countless files, following leads that pointed to local mobsters and their close associates, hoping to uncover the masterminds behind the daring theft. The city's criminal landscape in the late 1980s and early 1990s was rife with rivalries, betrayals, and secret deals, making it a fertile ground for such a high-stakes crime. The FBI has long believed that a sophisticated criminal organization orchestrated the heist, possibly involving figures like Leonard DiMuzio and George Reisfelder. Both men were well known in Boston's mob circles, and their names surfaced early in the investigation. Strangely, both DiMuzio and Reisfelder died within a year of the crime, raising suspicions that they may have known too much or played a direct role in the theft. Their untimely deaths only fueled rumors and speculation. Some believe they were silenced by fellow criminals to keep the true location of the stolen art a secret, while others think they simply became casualties of the violent world they inhabited. Whispers of betrayal and double crosses have persisted for decades, adding to the case's mystique. Another key suspect, mobster Bobby Gentile, was repeatedly targeted by investigators. Over the years, his home was searched multiple times, and authorities believed he held crucial information about the missing masterpieces. Despite intense scrutiny and even time behind bars, no trace of the art was ever found before Gentile's death in 2021, leaving investigators frustrated and the public wondering if he took secrets to his grave. Some theories suggest the stolen art never left New England at all. According to this line of thinking, the priceless works could be hidden away in a forgotten attic, a dusty basement, or even a secret compartment in an old house, waiting to be discovered by chance or confession. Others are convinced the art was smuggled out of the country soon after the heist. Some point to Ireland, where Boston mobsters had connections, while others believe the trail leads to South America, a region known for its black market dealings and hidden treasures. The international scope of these theories has kept the case alive in law enforcement circles around the world. With so many suspects either dead or unwilling to talk, and with no physical evidence ever recovered, the Gardner heist remains one of the most perplexing mysteries in modern crime history. Investigators have chased countless leads, but each one seems to end in a dead end or another unanswered question. The fate of the stolen masterpieces is as enigmatic as the identities of the thieves themselves. The empty frames still hang in the museum, silent reminders of what was lost and the secrets that remain hidden. Decades later, the Gardner case is a tangled web of speculation, rumors, and dead ends, a puzzle that continues to captivate the world with answers just out of reach. On the 35th anniversary, a viral video claimed the FBI had recovered Rembrandt's lost masterpiece. The footage was a hoax, a marketing stunt for a film inspired by the Heist. The museum and FBI quickly debunked it, dashing hopes once again. In 2024, longtime FBI agent Jeffrey Kelly retired, still convinced local criminals were behind the theft. The investigation now passes to a new generation, led by the museum's security director Anthony Amore. Another chapter closed with the death of Rick Abath, the guard who unwittingly let the thieves in. His passing marked the end of a direct link to that fateful night. The search continues, but the trail grows colder. Today, the Gardner Museum's empty frames are a powerful statement. They remain exactly where the stolen masterpieces once hung, a permanent reminder of loss and hope. The museum refuses to fill the gaps, turning every visitor into a witness to the crime. Led by Anthony Amore, the museum runs the world's longest active art recovery campaign. A $10 million reward remains on offer, with immunity for anyone who returns the art. The empty frames and the reward are twin beacons, one a plea, the other a vigil. The museum's message is clear: the art is not forgotten and the search will never end. The frames are not just empty, they're waiting. 35 years later, the Gardner heist is still an open wound in the art world. The mystery endures. Why these works? Where are they now? No ransom, no black market sightings, no confessions, just silence and speculation. The $10 million reward is a desperate hope that someone will finally break the silence. The empty frames ensure the world never forgets what was lost. The final chapter remains unwritten, waiting for a clue or a confession. If you love mysteries like this, subscribe for more.